Hello everyone, hope you guys are having a great day. It is April 6th, and today I'm back with another video. Today we're going to be talking about, once again, this week's severe weather. Um, so we're just going to be talking about pretty much what I've been talking about in the past couple of videos. The continuing multi-day severe weather event. And we're going to be tracking, or we're going to talk, we're not going to be tracking, we're going to be talking about, kind of at the end of the video, our next storm system and what kind of severe weather that could bring later this week. So let's get started. So today we do have a slight risk. This is our day one convective outlook. Just a slight risk from South Dakota, even a little bit of southwestern Minnesota down into Kansas. And we can see tomorrow, which is April 7th, we have a slight risk. And then Thursday, April 8th, we have a slight risk also. And day 4 through 8, we have no risks. So that's good. And we go back to, we do have a severe thunderstorm watch out right now. It is right here. It is for the cities in this severe thunderstorm watch is Grand Island, Russell, Kansas, Dodge City, one county to the east of you, and one county to the west of Wichita. So, not really any major cities in it other than Grand Island, which Grand Island's not a major city. But, kind of, it's in between Dodge City, in between Wichita, in between North Platte and Omaha. So it's kind of interesting, but we got tomorrow's convective outlook. We're not going to really talk about today. We're going to talk about storms that could go on during tonight, and that'll lead into kind of tomorrow, where we have a very large slight risk, or not very large, but a pretty large slight risk that goes from southern Missouri into central Louisiana, Mississippi, even into western Alabama. Almost all of the state of Arkansas is in the slight risk. Very large slight risk. And we also do have a marginal going up to our surface low, which is going to be slowly spinning out and weakening in the Midwest. We can see we have that marginal risk going up to Des Moines and Omaha. So that's kind of the setup we have tomorrow for some severe weather. 5% tornado risk, 15% wind, and 15% hail. And for day 3, we have a marginal risk in practically the same areas, just a little bit further to the east in the areas like eastern Alabama and areas like western Georgia. So we're also going to talk about if tomorrow can go enhanced, and where that could actually occur. So let's get started. So during tonight, we can see we're going to have some storms ongoing in Kansas. We've already have had some storms break the cap. So that's good. Even the capping was a big problem today for severe weather, and that is still a limiting factor. We can see during tonight we're gonna have storms coming into areas like maybe Kansas City, maybe some storms moving into Des Moines. Take some sounding. We can take a sounding in Iowa. This is around 5 a.m. We can see, yeah, you're not gonna really get severe weather out of this. Not a whole lot of instability with this, only around maybe 500 Cape. But that's still marginal. You can still have a severe weather threat with that much instability. It's gonna limit it, of course, but you can still have severe weather with that. But overall, this is not a very good sounding. Of dew point of 54. That HOTO is very messy. I would just expect those to be normal thunderstorms. Maybe you could get a severe out of that for maybe some damaging wind or hail, but this doesn't look too good. Take one where we have our line of storms in Kansas, and maybe western Missouri also. This is a little bit more interesting. We have a little bit more instability, around 1,000, 1,500. And yeah, we can see instability, and dew point is 59. This is a cap sounding. It's pretty capped, and we do have a little bit of low level shear. I'm not liking the looks of this HOTO though. That's not gonna really favor tornadoes too much, and that capping, that's not gonna do a whole lot. And then during the day tomorrow, we can see we have some storms even moving to Wisconsin. You can see at this sounding, you're not going to get tornadoes out of this. Likely just a damaging wind, maybe a hail threat up there. A smaller hail threat. So, if we can see, this is tomorrow afternoon. We have our low, just by looking at reflectivity, we have our low right here, cold front right here. And warm front maybe like this, or something like that. Our low is starting to spin out, and it's going to start to weaken. It is weakening at this time. And we just have a lot of messy convection in front of this, in front of that cold front. So let's zoom in on that area where we have our slight risk. No goods. We can't really get a goods. We can't really get a good sector here to zoom in on, but this one will work. So 18Z, we have our cold front situated, I think, around right there. Let's go to 20. Let's do this. And we can confirm where our cold front is by looking at dews. So we have our low right to the west of Kansas City. And our cold front stretched out like this. And then we go to composite reflectivity. And let's get the, yeah, there we go. So take a sounding right in front of the cold front, right in front of these storms we have initiating in Missouri. This is not a bad sounding. Let me get rid of that. This would definitely favor hail and damaging winds. Not as much of a tornado threat. I'm thinking that this sounding is not going to really favor supercells. This does not look too good. But overall, this is not a terrible sounding for maybe some hail and damaging wind. And I'm not really thinking tornadoes with that. Let's take a sounding in kind of central Missouri. This is a little better. We do have a decent amount of low-level shear. We also have a lot of instability, almost around 2,000. And once again, shear is decent. I'm not liking the looks of that HODO graph though. That HODO just does not look good. Take a sounding maybe even in northwestern Louisiana. This is more of what I'm thinking for tornado risk here. Now keep in mind, this is still earlier in the afternoon. You can see we actually have winds varying of height and a nice looking HODO. This is not the best looking HODO I've ever seen. Nothing like that. This is just a decent looking HODO. It's not messy. It's curved also. That's not terrible. We have a critical angle of 84. And shear is only around 20 to 30 knots. Overall, not perfect. On surface to 1 kilometer, SRH is around 182. That's favorable. No, I'm liking the looks of this sounding a little bit better here. And I'm thinking that that maybe early in the afternoon, if we have the right storm mode, we could maybe get some tornadic activity in this area. Right there. I'm not thinking this area could see too much early in the afternoon. We're going to go later. Yeah, this sounding would favor maybe a risk of some tornadoes. We have a little bit more veering with this sounding. Plenty of instability, decent, or actually really good lapse rates. Or not really good around. Decent surface lapse rates and decent lapse rates. Or decent 700 to 500 MB lapse rates. Around 7.6, that's decent. This would favor large hail, of course, damaging winds. Kind of all modes. And maybe you could get a tornado with that HODO right there. And with the shear, we have SRH of around 145. Some decent shear. And yes, let's go later. Let's go to 20Z now. Let's skip ahead 2 hours. We have more convection going off along the cold front. This is around 20Z, so this is around 2 or 3 p.m. Nice line of storms. Let's start off on the northern side of this. Let's take a sounding in northern Missouri. This is very interesting sounding. Some decent low-level shear. I'm not liking the looks of this HODO though. This could support a tornado, but it's not a great setup for one. Not a classic tornado setup right there. Take a sounding further now. Let's take a sounding kind of by the Jefferson City area. Okay, this is a little bit better. The HODO first part of it looks good, but then as you get into the upper levels, no, it's very messy. So we have a decent amount of instability, decent lapse rates. Definitely, kind of a chance you could get a weak tornado out of that sounding. Let's take a sounding in southern Missouri, where the HRRR even indicates maybe a few supercells going off. This is what I'm talking about. We have a decent looking HODO, critical angle of 56, which is not bad, but not great either. Plenty of shear, decent instability, and good lapse rates, and not really capped at all. We have a little bit of capping, not a lot though. The storms will easily break through that. capping's almost not even there. So the HRRR even indicates maybe a few supercells trying to go off, embedded supercells in this part of the line right here. And maybe before it even turns into a linear line, you could even have a few supercells. But the HRRR normally, or the HRRR kind of has it growing upscale very quickly. Now let's take a sounding in northeastern Arkansas. Maybe we could have a few supercells in front of the line. Let's take a look at this, and I'm not really thinking this would be it. This is not going to really be a supercell sounding. This is overall not that good of a sounding. Yeah, I'm thinking mainly a messy storm mode, maybe linear also. Not really thinking those are going to be supercells. Take a sounding further to the south. Let's take one in central Louisiana. In front of those storms. Those storms would have a tornado risk. Around almost 2,000 or 2,000 Cape. That's not bad. Plenty of shear. Definitely not the best I've ever seen, but not a bad sounding. So it looks like around 20 Z, which is around 3 to 4 p.m. We'll see a tornado risk pretty much all the way around this line. Not this far east, but it looks like the best tornado risk could exist maybe in southern Missouri, northern Arkansas. That's kind of the area I'm thinking maybe for the best tornado risk at 3 to 4 p.m. Now let's skip ahead. Let's go to 7 p.m., which is 00Z. We have our low kind of right over the Kansas City area. Nice looking cold front. Now the low is weakening and kind of spinning kind of around itself. You can see we still have a nice line of storms. Kind of a broken line in some areas. But you can take a sounding in western Illinois. Yeah, you're not going to really have a good tornado threat with this. Mainly damaging winds and maybe small hail. Take a sounding in Missouri, southeastern Missouri. And a little bit more of a tornado threat with this. Still not a great setup for tornadoes at all. And we go further down the line. The HRRR maybe indicates a few stronger storms in Arkansas. Take a sounding there. Okay, yeah, this looks good. Problem is it's contaminated, so let's get a new one. But that looks like a good sounding. So we're going to try and take one right here. Maybe this won't be contaminated. Come on. All right, here we go. So 40 to 50 knots of surface to 1 kilometer and surface to 3 kilometer shear. SRH of almost 500. And that's surface to 1 kilometer. And instability is a little bit of a problem, but with these dynamics you have, you could easily get. The instability is not going to really be an issue. That's manageable. Lapse rates aren't that steep, so that could kind of limit the hail threat a little bit. And this sounding is not elevated, which I wouldn't really expect it to be with this kind of setup. But in this Hodo, once again, this is a very nice looking Hodo. Very curved and enlarged hodograph right there. So I'm liking the looks of that. I'm thinking around 7 p.m., this area right here could be the area to watch. Northeastern Arkansas, southeastern Missouri, western Tennessee, maybe even into western Kentucky. It's a little uncertain. I'm thinking northeastern Arkansas. Now let's zoom to the south here. We're going to go to the southeast. We have some storms even moving in Louisiana that look pretty strong. Let's take a sounding with those. This might be contained. Yeah, we're going to have to get a new one. Take a sounding right here. It's still contaminated, I'm sorry. Try and get one right here. Oh, yeah, this one's a little bit less contaminated, but we're going to look at it. So this is like a little bit of a cap sounding. We have decent lapse rates. Let's actually scroll down here. Lapses are decent, yeah, not surface lapse rates, though. Critical angle is 59. Hodograph looks not really good. Not a classic tornado shape to that at all. And shear is existent, or shear exists, but it's not that great of a setup for tornadoes. I'm still think the best tornado threat at around 00Z tomorrow, which is 7 p.m. That's Central Time, will likely be northeastern Arkansas, if we can get the right type of storm mode. Now, if we have a discrete supercell go off in Louisiana, and we end up having decent instability, not a capped environment, or not a lot of capping, and it breaks the cap, we could easily see a tornado at this time. It just depends kind of on the right storm, but the best dynamics, according to the HRRR, are going to exist in this area with that part of the line. And the HRRR even indicates maybe a few supercells in that kind of broken part of the line. So, yeah, now let's skip ahead another 3 hours. Let's go to O3Z. We have our line moving east. Our low is still spinning in northwestern Missouri. And line is really starting to break up at this point. Let's take a sighting in southern Illinois. Still a tornado throughout this, so this is actually a little bit, this is kind of impressive. We have nice low-level shear, decent SRH. Instability is an issue. But with these dynamics we have, I think you can manage 300, around 300 to 400, or 300 to 400 capes, sorry. And this Hodo looks, I'm liking looks of that Hodo right there. That is kind of, that's the shape I normally like to see. Critical angle's 57, not bad. Lapse rates are not that steep, so maybe not really a large, or not a giant large hail threat in southern Illinois. But maybe even a tornado going into the night. That could be a risk for a few tornadoes even overnight. Wednesday night, even maybe in the Thursday morning. Take a sounding in northern Mississippi. This might be contaminated. Yeah, let's get a new one. Take a sounding right here. Okay, this is definitely interesting for sure. We have limited instability once again. This is a little capped. That could be a problem. We have decent shear though. Overall, that shear is looking decent. The Hodo looks kind of not. I'm not gonna say it looks good. That's not a bad looking Hodo though. It looks better than some of the other ones we've gotten. So still even a tornado threat as far south as Mississippi into the overnight hours. So yeah, now let's talk about Thursday real quick. We're gonna switch models to the not the NAM 3, the NAM. Then we go to Thursday. Thursday we will have a severe weather threat in the southeast. Let's zoom into the southeast. Sorry, this is taking a long time. Kind of indicates some thunderstorms in that area. Let's just look at some dynamics here. We're gonna look at mixed layer cape. We have a decent amount of cape across areas of the southeast, and we're not gonna really talk about Thursday. Thursday doesn't look too much or too very interesting. Thursday doesn't look really good. Wednesday is starting to interest me more. So we go out to Wednesday. Let's go to dew points real quick, and or not Wednesday, Friday. Sorry, yeah, Friday. This is Friday, April 9th. We have our low around Wichita Falls, Texas. Very decent, a nice looking cold front and a warm front also, or maybe some kind of front connected to this northern low. That's our weakening low from before. A nice warm sector. We go to instability here. We're gonna look at mixed layer cape. Not a whole lot, but we have Louisiana, Mississippi, plenty of it, 2,000 to 3,000. In Texas, right where we have our cold front, 1,000, maybe to 2,000, 1,000 to 2,000. So not bad. Lapse rates are also impressive. Or not also impressive, but are impressive. We have this is 700 to 500 MB lapse rates. 9 around Dallas Fort Worth. That's pretty significant. That would favor a very large hail threat. And yeah, so I'm thinking that Friday could potentially be another. It's going to be kind of the start of maybe another multi-day severe weather threat. So this is only 18Z. We go to 21Z. Don't have a whole lot going on in this area. We go to severe weather, not winter weather. Sorry, we go to mixed layer cape. A nice pocket of 2,000 to 3,000 coming up in Texas. We take a sounding right in the middle of that, and it just looks. That has extreme instability right there, though. 3 to 4,000 cape. It's a slightly capped, but that capping could actually maybe be good. It's kind of hard to tell. That's not a whole lot of capping. Storm with this instability, storms could break through that cap easily. Shear doesn't look the best. Hodo doesn't look the best. But still maybe a 2 to 5% tornado risk. Definitely not the best Hodo I've ever seen though. 7 p.m. Friday now. We have even more instability along this front. Take a sounding in there. Once again, extreme instability. This one's a little bit more capped, but the Hodo, this one's a little bit more capped. We have plenty of instability once again. And shear profiles look decent. Not great. Once again, just kind of a weaker tornado threat. Let's actually zoom in on this south central U.S. here. And we're going to go to composite reflectivity. So the NAM doesn't indicate a whole lot of thunderstorm activity in this area at 7 p.m. We have maybe some storms in northern Oklahoma. Let's take a look at those. Yeah, maybe mainly just a severe weather threat with those. Take a sounding in northern Arkansas. All right, this is kind of interesting. We have kind of a weird low-level shear here. And a very enlarged Hodo. Critical angle of 96. Once again, plenty of instability. Not extreme like we had or not extreme instability like we had further to the south, but plenty of instability. This would likely, if storms actually occur in northern Arkansas, it could even have maybe an isolated tornado risk with them. This is Friday, not Wednesday. By the way. So, yeah, we go to forecast hour 81. Some storms going on in Oklahoma. Let's take a sounding with those. Yeah, likely maybe an isolated tornado threat. Definitely a large hail threat. I'm thinking that the main threats on Friday are going to be large hail and damaging winds. I think large hail could be a big threat. And I'm also thinking damaging winds could be a pretty significant threat. And also tornadoes once again. I'm thinking we could have a tornado risk on Friday. I think that just by looking at the NAM, mainly this area here, could see that again Friday. Kind of the similar areas you can see at Wednesday. Just a little bit further to the west. Let's switch models. Let's go to the GFS here. GFS indicates storms even as far south as northern Louisiana and southern Arkansas. So that's a little bit different than the NAM. But yeah, that wraps up this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll be back tomorrow, but yes, goodbye.